Hello everyone, welcome back to Cross/Game. It's been a while since my last video. I have just been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I would advise anyone to have a go because it is such a crazy and amazing game. And that's why I've been a bit delayed in coming back to YouTube and putting videos out there. I'm just enjoying myself too much. But the topic at hand really is all about the latest news, which I'm kind of behind on, late to the party. But I think I'm celebrating, right? I feel like there's been a turning point, a shift in the internet when it comes to the whole woke sort of side in video games, right? And I think up until now. We've not been kind of like voicing our opinions in the right way, maybe is the best way to say it. We focus too much on the general side of it, and we go about our day. When we see something and we identify something that may be considered to be a bit woke, we say, we generalize about it. We're not very concise around why we think it's wrong, or why it shouldn't be in a specific video game, or why it's potentially making video games worse. Okay, so I know a lot of people do have different opinions and have different ways of explaining things, but the general gaming community won't go out their way to express themselves. It's left to YouTube and content creators and I guess people on social media such as X and whatnot. And what that means is it always comes around like it's spiteful, right? It's someone typing a message on X and it comes across badly, so there's always a rebuttal around those. It's never a discussion or a healthy discussion. It's basically an argument. It's who can get on top, who has the last laugh sort of thing. So it's a bit annoying because we never move forward. We've never really exposed, say, these people for the right reasons. They always have an out. But recently we had a gentleman a curator who decided to make a group on Steam, and it's funny how such a simple action has ripples. Waves just go out, just come out of that one action, because I don't think he thought it was going to be as big as it is. But he just decided, you know what, I've heard enough about this company, Sweet Baby Inc., and I'm going to make a group where I'll just highlight all the games they've worked on, and therefore if people, don't want to partake in those games, they know. And I don't think there was anything wrong with that, because just like anything else online, you should have the right to express yourself or your opinion, or regardless of his intentions. He just didn't think it would garner so much traction, and then he realised he wasn't the only one out there. As we speak, I think he's close to around 270,000 followers on that group now, and I think that it is the turning point we needed to express how much people don't like these games when they are very much designed around pandering, sending this woke message out there. Because, in my opinion, your ideals, your beliefs, they don't belong in entertainment such as video games. There's no way you can just go, well, this is what I believe in, and I'm just going to put it in there, and I think it makes the game better. But that's just something you think. It doesn't actually make the game better. It doesn't enrich the game in any way. It's just your belief. It's your ideals. It's whatever your view of the world, and that's not what entertainment's about. Entertainment is exactly for that specific thing. It's for entertaining the customer, the people that put the money down to enjoy those games. And because he created this group now, everyone is literally. Steam doesn't have every single game that Sweet Baby Inc. has ever worked on, But it started a trend. It allowed players and gamers to go, well, actually, we agree, we don't want this, and we didn't want to really go out there and type a message explaining that. But this is a great way of showing the world and showing the industry that we are not up for it. So it took off. In a matter of weeks to months, it just took off, and I haven't checked it recently, but I believe it's something along the lines of 260,000 to 270,000 followers at the moment, and it caused a big riot out there because the Chris Kindred, who is one of the people who works at Sweet Baby Inc., just come up with a hate campaign against this guy because of the group, and wanted him cancelled. So all that happened is, by doing that, they literally lit a fire under this topic, because instead of like people going, oh, I'm not going to pay attention to this, it just literally drew all the attention onto it, making it bigger than maybe what it would have been. So I applaud Chris Kindred and Sweet Baby Inc. and anyone who tried to get this guy cancelled and stopped and the group disbanded, for doing so, because we now understand that there's a lot more people out there just like us. It also spread far out to content creators that talk mainly around the TV and movie entertainment side, and they are also gamers, but because obviously they're having their own battles around the woke agenda and on when it comes to movies and TV series and such. So it kind of drew their attention, and so they started talking about it. So all their communities all of a sudden were, oh yeah, of course I watch movies and games, I also play video games, so this is all applicable. So we're getting it from all angles now, and Sweet Baby Inc. is literally under fire. Now, this is not to say that Sweet Baby Inc. is the only company that does this, or is solely responsible for making video games bad, for the lack of explaining it in a better way. There are many other companies out there, consultancy companies. That's what they are. They're like a third party that developers go to transform and sort of adjust their game to fit the ESG crap, basically. Because this is the problem. The developers are stuck in the middle, because Vanguard and all them lot, they're holding all this money, and they're saying you can only have this money if you transform your company, if you force the culture change within your company, and this has to also be reflected in your work. So when the games come out, we need to see what you're doing. We need to see that you're fully committed, and then you'll get the money. And I think so they're conflicted by that, because there's hundreds of thousands of millions of pounds that are at stake from that side, because it means that a developer can take that investment and put it towards all their projects, and then get a return on that investment when the game goes on sale, which generally, if the game is good, they will make a lot of money, right? But unfortunately, what's happening is this forced agenda, this literally woke forced agenda that is coming from the top down, from the ESG guys, the Vanguards and all the BlackRock people. They gave rise to these consultancy companies all over the place, which there's not that many, but there's a few out there whose names are just very strange. But the Sweet Baby Inc. is, I think, maybe at the top, because they've literally worked with so many of the AAA companies to transform their games and model them in some way, shape or form, causing weird stuff to happen, such as like The Last of Us Part 2, or some of the changes within God of War Ragnarok, which are very minor, but they're still there. Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, and the list goes on, right? They got their own smaller titles, which no one really touches. So there's this modern gaming audience that they think exists. It's a myth, to be fair, but they think it exists. They think that, by injecting all their beliefs and ideals into video games will make them better, but it's clearly making them worse. And that's not because the game doesn't function or anything like that. It's because the person with the money, the end consumer, me and anyone else like me, when we've been kind of tricked into buying a game that we didn't know had any sort of stuff like that in there, we come to realise we don't like it. And then others follow suit, others express their opinions, and we all realised we don't like it. So obviously I have my little channel and I express myself that way, but a lot of the gamers out there just go, nah, they don't have the time to be expressing themselves, they just put, nah, not buying it. So the sales speak for themselves. And then what happens is Sweet Baby Inc. and all the companies that made that game will attack the consumer and call us all sorts of things for not adhering to their crap, right? And I don't understand how that's even possible. How do you attack your consumer, right? How do you attack your consumer? It's the one rule. It's the golden rule. And I think it's actually I come to realise today that there's a saying, right? So the customer's always right, right? And whilst there is that's half of the saying, by the way. We've always been used to like the customer's always right, but that's not correct. The full saying is, or the full lyric is, the customer's always right in matters of taste. And I think that it couldn't be more poignant. I found out today that the full length of the saying, funny enough, and it's true. The customer is always right in matters of taste, and we do have taste. That's why we choose, that's how we know on what to choose to spend our money on. Clearly, it's just so. It's I don't know how we've abandoned reason. But people like Chris Kindred and Sweet Baby Inc. and some of the legacy media who recently got involved in this story, like Kotaku and PC Gamer and XYZ, they're all talking out their ass, right? And they're trying to defend each other, only making themselves look even worse. In the meantime, the curator in Steam is just growing in numbers, and we don't know when it's going to stop. It's just growing. So the bigger the number, the more people it shows, we're not interested. So I think it's a great turning point. I think it's something to celebrate, because in entertainment in general, between movies, games and series and so on and so forth, we've been fighting to put these guys aside. And I really hope that this sort of uprise, for lack of a better word, means that developers will start listening to their customers again, to us, because we're the ones we're the return on their investment. So if you make a good game, we will buy it, we will play it. Gamers in general will play it, but don't rub us the wrong way, okay? A general gamer don't give a toss about you, the company, the same way as the company doesn't give a toss about us. They don't, because they're just there for profit. They have no morals, they're making a product and they want it to sell. There might be one or two people within the whole process of making a game that's their passion. This is my vision. I really can't wait to complete and build this game and share it with, the gamers out there, because I do this for you. Like, there must be some people out there, because I tried to dabble in video game design before, and that's how I feel. I want to share my vision. So I can imagine that in that sort of realm, there's people that in these companies who want to share their vision, and so therefore, with that, you kind of end up thinking, sure, that's why games are made to begin with. It's the art and the money, and one can't live without the other. The art needs the money in order to get the game made. So, but ultimately, the money rules. The money is in charge of everything. The people putting the money down to make your game are in charge of everything, and you can tell how money speaks volumes when BlackRock and Vanguard and all that ESG stuff try and force cultural change around the industry, all the way down to the consumer. And now we're finally seeing the results. Games are flopping, and I'm laughing here because please get the message, developers. Please get the message, okay? This is all I had to say about the topic today. It's just a bit of a ramble, but I'm happy because, and I hope there's more changes to come. I don't want to see anyone lose their jobs, but clearly there's been a lot of layoffs already in the video game industry, maybe because of failures within the games that have been made so far, and so they're just cutting corners. The development companies like Sony and all that, just, you know, letting people go and closing studios, and it's sad. It's sad, but there is a reason. There's specific reasons around why these things are happening. So I urge all those companies that I specifically like, you know, to really look within and understand where the problem lies, and then from there make adjustments, make reasonable adjustments to your company in order to make games, or maybe cheaper to make at a reasonable cost, and hire the good talent that's out there. Sure, it's a very competitive market, yes, but you just stop falling for this ESG crap. Just stop. Because all that's going to happen is it's just another reason to let people go and to close studios. Anyway, that's enough for today. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will speak to you guys soon, because I have so much Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to still play. This game feels like it never ends, and I've never played a game that literally feels like it just gets better and better the more you play. So go and play it if you haven't. Great game. Review to come in the future. Take care, guys. Nice to speak to you. Well, thanks for listening. And I'll leave you with the final words from the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., just so you have a little bit of a taste of the type of mentality that we're dealing with here. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye.
And if you're in development and you are part of like that dominant voice, you're like a cis hetero white dude or just adjacent to that, do not wait until the end to call your consultants. Bring them in at the beginning, and instead of asking them, hey, is this very racist thing we did very racist? Or is this deeply offensive thing we did deeply offensive? Are you hurt by it? Ask them what they want to see. Like, ask them what would thrill them, what would bring them joy. And if you have a team lead, put that request to them very, very early. If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want. Because they have to consider, like, I say that out as a joke, but it's actually very, very true, because if you start to consider the people who are player and audience facing and who have to deal with mitigating harm and with keeping the sentiment around their game and their project positive, there's like a genuine value that you can impress upon them with both ethically and financially. You can say this is important.